Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up on today's show, we're gonna start with a little chat in the second half of the show. We're gonna be talking about the Charlie Hebdo tragedy shooting in Paris.
We're gonna talk in a larger sense. We're gonna talk about Muslims and Europe and
how should we be responding?
Yeah.
And pictures, drawings of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Yes, indeed. What's nice for you guys is that by the end of this podcast, you'll all know exactly how to respond appropriately to all of these things.
Oh, ooh.
Isn't that nice? No. We'll just help you out like that.
Oh.
But
goodness.
First, we have the news of the day.
Dun, dun, dun,
Or
dun, dun,
of
dun,
the week, or whatever.
dun, dun. Yeah.
Or of like last month. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's not like we're like trying to be all
timely
and current eventy and stuff. What do you got? You got something?
Yes, I have the story of a pamphlet that's being handed out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a panda. I was getting all excited.
No.
Okay.
A little pamphlet that's being handed out in Ireland. Ireland is actually, they're going to be voting on gay marriage coming up in a few months.
Oh.
And this pamphlet is taking a position against gay marriage.
Okay.
The Christians
Sure.
in Ireland have put together a very, very important piece of promotional material for their arguments.
Sure.
Their arguments against gay marriage, and it asks the important question of and this is printed right on the front, right? With the pictures of a couple very, very sad children.
Oh no.
And it says, should children be exposed to the sounds of sodomy?
Well, I know when I was a kid, my mom used to play a CD of sodomy for us to. It would help us go to sleep.
The sound. It just
It was just a CD. It was like one of those calming sort of like wave noises.
It's a surprisingly pleasant and soothing
so those deep male voices saying all of those dirty things.
Oh yeah. No, it just lulls you. Just lulls.
Can't
children.
someone think of the children? Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
think of the children.
So it does seem like yes. What I mean, it's obvious what they're saying. Like somehow the sounds of sodomy are damaging
Children.
What
about the sounds of
heterosexual sex?
Yeah. They're probably also
exposed to.
Yeah. Probably far more frequently than actually the sounds of sodomy.
Well, I mean, if a kid grows up with gay parents,
they might hear their parents having sex.
Kids sometimes hear their parents having sex.
Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, it's not pleasant for any kid.
Oh no.
That's not a happy time for a kid when you hear your parents.
No.
Rough housing in the next room. But it happens.
Yeah.
But no, it's different, right? It's got to. So surely they explain that sodomy is the sounds. Since we're focusing on the sounds, surely sodomy is worse than heterosexual sounds.
Absolutely. At this very moment, it says, the liberal agenda conspires to undermine God's word and is drafting law to allow homosexuals to adopt children.
We're drowning out God's word with homo sex.
Yeah. So of course it asks the question, should children be exposed to sounds of sodomy? It also asks, should children be exposed to this beastly obsession with unholy acts?
You do the same unholy acts that they do. You just do it slightly differently.
How about this one, though? This one gets a little bit more to the point.
Okay.
Should the sounds of sodomy echo in the halls of a Christian home? Echo in the halls.
Which sounds like an 80s new wave band. Yeah, that's Wow, they've really got they've got you there, Frank.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
I think you have to now give up the quest for gay marriage in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because boy, the audio on that. Now, if your child is gay, or sorry, if your child is deaf, can gay men adopt a deaf child so that the deaf child doesn't have to hear the sounds of sodomy?
Well, the problem is that signing translator that just keeps, following them around, explaining everything that's going on.
Sure. Just what is the sign for? Okay, I was gonna go really blue, like about as blue as you can go, but I decided I backed off.
You're reining it in.
I'm reining it in.
Okay.
I backed off. Mom's listening. I every now and then that
your mom is.
I
listening.
consider the old folks. Anyway,
the sounds of sodomy, and this social media apparently exploded with people making fun of this.
Really?
There's
impossible.
There's a mock Simon and Garfunkel.
Of course.
The Sounds of Sodomy
album.
Oh
yeah.
It
is one of their better songs.
Yeah, really, really, really nice. Yeah, just good stuff.
Hello, butthole, my old friend.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. That's what everybody.
That's basically it.
That's it right there.
All right. Well, I'm going to stick with the gay marriage theme. Slightly different thing happening. As you may be aware, Florida has just been made to have gay marriage.
Oh, awful!
Isn't it? Isn't it the march
been forced
of Satan has just steadily marches onward. Oh, excuse me, I've got a little tickle.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's the thing. Not everyone in Florida. I mean, if I tell you that news is coming out of Florida, that I'm about to do a story about Florida, you're not going to be picturing like something normal.
Right. So did somebody get attacked with a machete or something?
Well,
because they got gay married.
Here's the thing. There are a lot of county clerks and whatever who don't want to perform these gay marriages.
And it's just because it's disgusting.
It's terrible. And I don't want to participate. I'm a justice of the peace, but I'm not going to do it for those homos.
The sounds of sodomy are going to be echoing through our courthouse.
So what do you think the solution is, Frank? What do you do if you're, a county that doesn't want to perform the gay marriages and the gays are coming?
You just close your offices for the day entirely, and you declare a holiday.
You change the rules so that there are no more courthouse weddings at all.
Oh.
In 3 counties in Florida, in Duval, Clay, and Baker counties in Florida, they have just decided, oh, fuck it, we're just not going to do it.
Can they do that?
Yeah.
Is there like a state law, though, that says that something about, I guess it probably never would have been spelled out.
No, these are all sort of rules that each county decides for themselves.
But there's sort of a tradition of the courthouse wedding.
Right. Well, that is a tradition. I mean, for those who don't want the frou-frou free-for-all.
Who just need to get married quick.
Yeah, that's what you want.
But they will issue licenses. They just won't perform the marriages.
Yes, they are required to issue licenses. That is not something they can weasel their way out of. And you got to think, Duval County in 2013 there were almost 2,000 wedding ceremonies performed in the courthouse.
No way.
So that's a lot of ceremonies that are not going to happen. There's a lot of people who are going to have to pay some officiant.
Yeah.
So if you live in Florida, guys, get your officiating,
Well, I mean, you could just go to it's inconvenient, but you could go to a neighboring county.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, if somebody lives in Florida, start up a business. Become an officiant, get your certificate through the
thing is, this will resolve itself. It'll take a minute, but this problem will solve itself.
Well, yeah, it's just really, it's so, and apparently in at least one of the counties, they can still have the ceremony at the courthouse, but their staff will not be having to be put into the uncomfortable position of marrying,
solemnifying.
of doing the thing that they've been doing.
It's not
for
even solemnification
years.
because it's just a government thing, but it's
No.
like
Yeah.
just certifying
Right.
that disgusting marriage.
It is disgusting. But
Who
considering
knows what they're going to do when they get home?
considering that
Oh
we're in
my
rural
goodness.
Florida, I mean, it's not like they haven't had to perform disgusting marriages before.
Disgusting toothless marriages.
Right, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
well,
those
there,
two people, what are they going to do? When
there
they
you
get
go.
home?
They found their loophole, Frank. They got around it.
Yeah, it's clever enough, I guess. Whatever. I don't care.
We're just not going to do it.
Should we just let's get the gay out of the way? Sorry, folks.
Let's pray the gay away.
Listeners, here's some more gay.
They love the gay. We all love the gay, right? All of us. I love.
Well, I think any new listener would be like, God, these guys, they're obsessed.
Well, it's
Well, I am.
It's one of the well, you are.
I'm clearly obsessed with all things.
God, you won't even date a non-gay
I
person.
know, it's disgusting.
You're just obsessed.
It's truly disgusting.
Anyway.
what we do in the privacy of our sodomy.
You probably vomit
Are
after
the
every
halls of my apartment
Yeah.
echoing with sodomy?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the poor family who lives upstairs.
Oh my God! Someone
When
send them.
will it
Send them
stop?
to Ireland. Someone send them there. Okay, go. What's the next one?
Well, there's a new show on TLC that I want to talk about. The TLC, that's the same network that brought us Sister Wives, right? And 19 Kids and Counting.
Sure. TLC is one of those channels that was sort of in the first big wave of new cable channels.
Yeah.
that had all this promise and then just reneged on the promise entirely. They were the learning channel.
Yeah.
TLC, the learning channel. Now they're like the salacious trash channel.
Trashy, sort of real life type things, going to people's homes and let's see how they live.
Right,
type
right,
things. So
right.
I think they have one that's like 600, My 600-Pound Life or something like that.
That's learning right there.
My Strange Addiction. What else do they have?
Why?
The Little Couple.
Oh yeah, we need to.
Didn't they have The Littlest Chocolatiers as well?
Sure. It's just they should just call it Cavalcade of Freaks.
Yeah. Well, here's a new one to add to the list.
To the cavalcade.
To the cavalcade. It's called My Husband's Not Gay. It is a 1-hour special about 4 Mormon men who are married to women but attracted to men.
Oh.
The trailer. I wonder if we should just play the trailer.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, let's get the audio from the trailer out there so you can kind of
right.
get a sense of what this thing is.
We do love each other very much. We are best friends.
I wouldn't change anything about him.
There's no marriage that is perfect. Ours isn't, but with our faith in God, we believe we can overcome anything.
I like to say I've chosen an alternative to an alternative lifestyle.
I'm attracted to my wife, for sure. And I'm definitely attracted to men, too. He's a good-looking guy, for sure.
Well, I'm interested in men, I'm just not interested in men.
That's clear.
So are they gay or not? I get a little defensive when somebody calls my husband gay.
The whole act is against the teachings of the gospel.
I don't think people understand this.
You're attracted to men, but you're going on a date with a girl.
I want to marry a woman, but I don't know how to work out these feelings. I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm attracted to men.
My husband's gay, and then it swoops in a little knot. Isn't that
Oh
nice?
yeah. I love the moment where one of the women is like, I wouldn't change anything about him.
Well,
I'll bet there's one thing. I can think of a thing that I'll bet if you could change it, you'd be interested.
Yeah. But he just was a little more interested in your bits
Yeah.
than he is.
Or a little less interested in somebody else's bits.
Yeah. A little more. Did I say more or less?
You said more interested in her
Yeah,
bits, which
yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
And also,
And less. Well, no.
oh, he could be both.
He could be both.
He could be a both.
He could be bisexual. Who cares?
Sure.
Right.
Well,
it's
she would-
just
I mean-
having that interest.
Yeah.
These are not men who claim to be bi. Bi men wouldn't have told their wife.
No, bi men, or they would have, but it wouldn't have been an issue.
Or it would have been in order to involve someone else.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Brother Sam down the street's looking pretty slim, isn't he? Svelte.
Hot. So anyway, so this is coming up. It's going to air on Sunday, January 11th. I recommend to everyone to please watch this show.
Well, you and I are gonna watch it together.
We're gonna watch it. We're gonna have a little watch party.
I'm mildly. Some part of me doesn't want to watch it.
I usually have sort of that reaction when things that are going to be terrible come up. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be embarrassing. This is going to be so awesome. Okay, this is amazing. I cannot wait.
Yeah, this is going to be.
There's something wonderfully, and it's going to be so, like, just looking at sort of the photography and the images that they're using to promote the show. It is going to be not dealt with in a nice, reverent manner.
No, of course not.
It's going to be fun.
And here's the thing. You guys, for those of you who have Mormon backgrounds, you will recognize the cringe-worthy parts of your Mormon memories. But for those of you who don't have Mormon backgrounds, I think you'll get some interesting insight into Mormonism.
Yeah.
It may be skewed.
Yeah.
So don't take it as the be-all and end-all.
The ability of Mormons to put on blinders, and to just ignore the painfully obvious. And to be incredibly deeply into denial. But anyways, just before we move on, want to read a couple of quotes and mention of the fact that this show's not hitting the air without any sort of controversy.
Oh, of course not.
Clearly, GLAAD has issued a statement.
That would be the gay and lesbian
anti-defamation something or other, right? So you have Sarah Kate Ellis, the president and CEO of GLAAD, says, this show is downright irresponsible. No one can change who they love, and more importantly, no one should have to. By investing in this dangerous programming, TLC is putting countless young LGBT people in harm's way. That
strikes me as
they just have to say something.
Yeah,
because this show clearly is gonna.
Do you think that young gay people in a church thing will watch this and go, "Oh, I should do that"? Or do you think they'll watch this and just be like, "Oh"?
It seems more of a cautionary tale.
Yeah. We'll have to watch it and see.
Yeah.
Trailers can be deceptive.
Yeah, they can be. It might not be as good as I think it's going to be. If you do happen to watch it, it is #myhusbandsnotgay, all squished together. Maybe throw in a little #TGIA in there if you're watching and tweeting about it, and we'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah. Live tweet. That'd be fun.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching it, of course, in the mountain time zone. So if you're on the East Coast and you don't see anything, sorry. Wait a couple hours.
Yeah. I'm going to move on. I was reading on the Religion Dispatches website, and one of their writers has come up with basically a look forward into 2015, with an eye toward what religious exemption lawsuits we could probably expect to see.
Okay.
Come up.
Yeah.
And I thought, I thought that was it was a pretty interesting little article.
Okay.
And so one of the things, so the first one that she expects is contraception to come up. Obviously, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, stipulates that all insurance has to cover contraception completely.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a net gain to insurance companies because it costs a lot less to cover that than it does to cover actually giving birth to a child.
Oh yeah, it's expensive.
So everybody should be on board with this, but the people who aren't on board with this are the people like your Hobby Lobbies and all of these religious corporations that sued to get an exemption from having to cover the evil contraception.
Oh no.
Because it's evil.
It is truly evil to prevent a pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Those are God's workings that you're fucking with.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's just so important that these
Although
young poor women
have as many children
have as many kids as possible.
Yeah.
That's really important.
I think it's very interesting, by the way, that God's will can be so easily circumvented. Like, if God really wants us to have that many kids, how can we come up with a pill that's just like, fuck you, God, we fixed it.
Free will, Dan. He gave us free will. That's one of God's gifts to us.
And brains that can come up with ways to stop pregnancies. Anyway, so she's saying, look for a whole bunch of plaintiffs to be, a bunch of employers to be trying not to give their female employees access to birth control.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's saying she's talking. So this relates to my first story. She's talking that she believes that there will be lawsuits trying to protect public officials from having to perform gay marriages if they have religious beliefs that run contrary to that.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense to me. North Carolina, actually, there's a lawmaker in North Carolina who's actually introducing who's proposed a bill to protect public officials from having to marry you queers. Anyway, and then corporate rights suits, including so when Hobby Lobby happened, when the Hobby Lobby lawsuit happened and Hobby Lobby won, which was a disaster. In the opinion that was written by the Supreme Court, they said that there was no reason to think that larger for-profit corporations would want the same exemptions that this sort of smallish Hobby Lobby closely held company would want. There's no reason to think that any bigger company would want to do the same thing. But as this author points out, there's no reason to think they won't.
Oh, okay. It's not like somebody has.
No, but she's just predicting that, because there are several types of corporations that could be publicly traded corporations that could benefit from being really discriminatory. Sure. if you're one of the largest Christian product manufacturers in the country, it's a feather in your cap if you're able to discriminate against gay people.
Oh yeah.
So,
and Starbucks at this point, I mean, they've lured so many gay people in just to work for them. If
just
they
to trick them,
if they could cut off their benefits, they would save a ton of money.
We'll hire them, but we don't want to give them insurance.
That seems like a good plan to me.
Just hire as many gay people as you want, and then suddenly
lure them in with lots of benefits, and then just slowly
have the warmest, most opening environment ever, and then just suddenly sue to not have to provide anything for them
in order to save money.
Right.
Sorry
guys, we can't afford to give insurance to all of you,
because then they don't have straight people in those spots who they do have to that they would have to extend benefits, and whatnot. It's very clever.
It's just our religion, you guys.
Through.
It's nothing personal. We love you guys so much, and you're great workers and everything. We just have this religious belief.
We're just side B'ers.
We're side B, right?
Yeah. We're side B Christians.
Didn't
you know?
I'm really trying not to remember what any
much.
of that means. I mean,
side B is where it's the.
I'm trying not to remember.
Love the sinner, not the sin. Dan.
Okay.
You love them as Jesus loves them.
Yes.
As disgusting and reprehensible as you find their activities, you still find a piece of you that loves them, just like Jesus does.
Or
because he finds it gross.
Or you find a piece of you that is willing to say that you love them and try to convince yourself of it.
Yeah, that might just be side C. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Anyway, all right. You done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Well, I would like to go to Tennessee for my next story.
Oh, good. Only good things happen in Tennessee.
Just good things. And this is a This is a wonderful, heartwarming story.
Oh, good.
This is the story of this is Angel and Jeff Watts.
Okay.
Okay. They wanted they had extra. Okay, so a few years ago, they were having some difficulty getting pregnant.
Oh dear.
As couples do.
Mm.
And so they, whipped up a bunch of embryos and had them frozen.
Mm.
And they've been able to successfully have 4 kids, 2 sets of twins, from in vitro fertilization, right?
Miracle of science.
Miracle of science. So now they have all the kids that they want, and but they have 6 frozen embryos. these children, right, who are frozen at the moment.
Fertilized eggs.
But children who are frozen.
They are fertilized eggs. They are
and
zygotes.
They
are
really
embryos.
They're wanting to unfreeze these children and find a home for them.
Won't someone think
Please
about
take our frozen
the
children?
cryogenically frozen children?
These babies, these frozen babies.
Oh my God!
Please, someone take our frozen babies.
What were they thinking when they created these embryos?
Well, you have to make a lot because you don't know if they're going to stick.
But they had to know that there was a very big chance that some of these were not going to be part of the game.
Well, yeah, and they probably did. They definitely hoped that they wouldn't have to go through the process of being in vitrally fertilized.
Oh my God! This
but
is just
so anyway, so she Angel went to Facebook and shared her story, and but she had some requests. Okay. She actually wants that whatever couple takes her frozen babies,
right,
that they live somewhere near them in Tennessee, so that they can visit, because they want open communication. With their future children who are born into this family.
Right.
And they want to make sure that this couple has similar values to them.
Of course.
Actually, the same values, not similar.
Of course.
They want the same values. Good Christian folk.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because they don't want their babies growing
their
up.
babies.
Their babies.
These are their frozen babies.
Their frozen babies growing up in, some gay family or something.
Yeah, you can't just give that to anybody.
Better that they stay frozen. These poor babies.
Some lesbian
These
couple
frigid
just
babies.
snaps up your frozen babies.
Well, don't give them to some lesbians.
Yeah, I know.
They've got eggs.
Well, yeah.
They've got 2 chances for eggs. But give them to a gay couple.
Well, the gays
don't have eggs.
They can't. They don't have. They also don't have a way to incubate these babies.
But they'll find someone.
I'm just saying, like, you are not making sense, sir. I am trying to wrap my head around where to go with that.
They'll find someone to put them in.
And
they'll find some young woman.
The lesbians have no greater capacity for reproduction than the gay couple.
Right, but they could ask for some sperm. Right.
Okay.
They have eggs. Eggs are easy to fertilize. Right.
Okay.
They are. Because guys will just give it up, willy-nilly. Hey, go masturbate and let us have it. Oh, okay, sure.
All right.
Whereas it's like a medical procedure to get an egg.
Okay. I see where you're going with that.
Right. That is hard. Whereas they've got eggs aplenty.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Gay couple doesn't have eggs aplenty. And they have wombs aplenty. They've got 2 of them. 2 possible wombs.
Right,
Dan.
right. I hear what you're saying. There's still some dips in your logic, but that's all right.
They've got plenty of womb for a baby in there.
Now we've gone to puns. now we've descended into puns. Anyway, yeah, I mean,
they've got room in their life for a baby.
Oh, I love this lady, and it's nice that they're protecting their values. They didn't think about their values when they needed kids, when they were just desperate for kids. They weren't thinking about their values then.
Well, the frozen babies probably always weighed heavily on their mind. They probably did. They knew they were unfreezing babies when they were putting them in them. but they were giving them a chance.
Yeah, but like
They don't want to have to abort.
I'm saying when they
these babies.
fertilized all of these embryos, when they created all of these embryos, it's not like they were like, oh shit, what if we create more than we actually want to have,
and then we have to abort them.
You know what? I just hope that they don't find anybody for it, and they just have to deal with.
I bet they had it all thought through, Dan. I bet they thought to the future, and they knew that they were making babies that were potentially needing to be aborted.
I hope that this gets publicized enough that other couples who are doing in vitro, like other Christian couples, suddenly are like, "Oh shit!"
No, but then they know that they can give those babies.
Oh no, this is not going to work.
An unbabied.
They're not
couple,
going to find homes
you know?
for these embryos.
Oh no, they did.
Oh, they did.
Oh no, they did. Yeah, it's a miracle.
Thank you, Jesus.
So Rain and Richard Galloway, 26 and 27, they've struggled with infertility for more than 4 years.
Oh.
And so,
hey, throw one of those frozen
so
ones up in
Rain
there.
says this is a huge blessing from God.
Oh,
We probably
yeah.
won't have 6, but if he gives us all 6, we'll have all 6.
Oh.
So they're going to just push all 6 into her and see
Sure.
what happens.
Sure. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
They just
Yep.
they just throw a lot of product at the problem.
Yeah. See how many of them find a little uterine wall to hang on to, and
I mean, actually, the idea is nice. If you do in vitro and you have some extra fertilized embryos,
this is what people should be doing.
You should be sharing these with
Share your baby wealth.
infertile couples.
Yeah.
Or infertile, or just even single parents who want a child or whatever. I mean, you should be sharing these
gay
embryos.
couples.
Because it costs a fortune to have
All of this shit.
the
done.
in vitro stuff done.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And if you've got some extra lying around at the end of it,
yeah,
share.
share
That's just nice.
your bounty.
So
But don't put
don't-
strings attached
Yeah.
where you're going to be able to visit your babies.
Oh yeah,
and
don't
stuff.
ever want to visit your stupid embryo babies. That's not that's not your baby.
No, it is. That's them.
It's your genes, but it's not your baby.
Yeah, this is actually, it's incredibly weird and selfish because they want their cake and
Yeah.
they want to be able to eat it too.
Well, and
Because like seriously, if they feel so strongly about these actually being their babies,
yeah,
then fucking have the babies,
right,
and raise them yourself,
right. Quit being
with
a lazy
your
ass
values
about it.
and whatnot.
Yeah, they're just making it weird.
Yeah,
don't make it weird.
no.
Anyway, so I'm going to get off of that and go to something completely different. You remember we've talked a lot about Cardinal Raymond Burke.
Oh yeah,
You remember him? He's an American cardinal who was just recently kicked off of the Vatican's kind of Supreme Court-y sort of thing.
he's a grumpy one, right?
He's Grumpy Magoo,
Okay.
and Pope Friendly decided to get rid of Grumpy.
Cardinal Grumpy.
Cardinal Grumpy, and move him to like a sort of a position that is powerless and meaningless.
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff.
cool. Where did he land?
I don't remember. Wasn't it Malta? Something Maltese?
Oh, I thought we talked about this.
We did talk about it. I don't pay attention to us. Okay, what the hell we talked about?
So what is he up to this time?
Well, he has.
Is he back from Malta?
he has
he
some-
went and got a tan, and now he's back.
Well, I don't know if he's back, but he's got some complaints.
Oh,
He has been thinking about the state of the Catholic Church, and he is not pleased
oh,
because it's gotten girly. It's gotten
Girly?
positively girly up in there. He says the
okay.
Catholic Church has
Curious.
become too feminized.
okay.
How? Well,
Wait. What is it? What the hell is he talking about?
well, apparently they have altar girls now, as opposed to so it's not just altar boys, but there are altar girls.
they do?
I guess.
That seems amazingly progressive for them.
Well, it's not that progressive, but sure. I mean,
For them,
they're not ordaining these
progressive
girls.
for them.
For them, sure. This to Cardinal Burke is horrific. Because here's the thing.
Really?
It means that there are fewer boys as doing altar work, alterness, being around the altar.
Fewer boys getting molested by the
I'm pretty sure
parish
I'm
priest.
pretty sure that doesn't happen. I think they've fixed it. I'm pretty sure that they've fixed it.
That's done.
Yeah, that's over.
Boy, you're putting a lot of faith in the Catholic Church, Dan. Why don't you sign up?
Well, I mean, they've heard about it for so long now. Surely they've fixed it. Surely the problem is solved.
They should be putting those boys through like a self-defense class or something. Just standard. Before you get you've got a good priest.
Yeah.
But just in case.
Hey,
we don't know. We've never heard anything about
They can
him.
protect the church from attack.
Yeah.
They can do everything.
But they should have like little chastity belts or something. But
yeah, you get a red chastity belt, and then you get the purple chastity belt, and then you get a black chastity belt. And when you're a black belt, you can
that stuff.
Then
Okay.
Then they can really defend themselves.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And anyway, no. What Cardinal Burke says is, first of all, he says young boys don't want to do things with girls. It's just natural. Meaning,
how old are these altar
I don't
boys?
know, they're like they're young.
Do girls still have cooties when they're
yeah,
altar boys?
yeah, I think so. But like you get over it. But
Okay.
But that's what he says first. But he says he thinks it's contributed to a loss of priests. There are definitely fewer men joining the priesthood.
Oh. Okay.
He says that it, quote, requires a certain manly a certain manly discipline to serve as an altar boy in service at the side of a priest.
Okay.
And most priests have their first deep experiences of the liturgy as altar boys.
Oh.
And that's probably true.
You know what? That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're not going to ordain women to be priests,
sure. Well,
then
there's your
just
solution.
you're just getting these girls all interested,
Right.
having deep experiences with the liturgy,
Right.
but there's nothing they can go be a nun, I guess.
Right. But not.
That's not very exciting.
No, it's not. Yeah, you don't get to be a leader of anything or anything.
No.
Yeah, there's no room for advancement
Right.
in nunneries, in nunhood.
Well, you can become the Mother Superior.
Yeah.
That's advancement of sorts.
Oh, she thinks she's so superior. Yeah. So yeah. Short of ordaining girls to the priesthood, I think they're gonna. And let's face the facts. They're losing parishioners too, so maybe they don't need as many priests.
Well, it's because of all these girly priests, the feminization of the church.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
also
right.
girly now.
Have you seen
men don't want to be in a girly organization, Dan.
It's true.
And that's the problem now.
Have you seen what the Pope wears? I mean, it's like a dress.
Like 400 years ago, that was very masculine.
Yeah, well, it's girly now, and I'm not okay with it.
You seen what his little military wears?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of
the Swiss Guard,
yeah,
clowns are kind of girly, and they look like clowns.
I don't know. I think clowns are kind of butch. They can be. They've got all that acrobatic shit that they have to do.
Butch the Clown. I'm sure there's a Butch the Clown.
Sure,
he's Butch.
He better be Butch.
He better be.
Butch the Clown.
I'm the straightest, manliest clown you ever saw.
You just called. That's really strange. I never would have thought of clowns as being
girly. They wear frilly clothes and like brightly colored.
Well, there are those kind of clowns. I'm thinking like rodeo clowns. Like you're really like
they're still wearing makeup.
Butch clowns. Give me a good rodeo clown.
Yeah, you're into it. I'm not gay. Watch this. I'm going to twist this balloon into the manliest thing you ever saw.
Just don't show it to the kids because cock and balls is probably the easiest thing to make with a
twisty balloon. Oh my god. Well, if you guys want to join the conversation, you certainly can. You can write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, or find hidden in the Facebook world, the realm of the hidden Facebook things. The TGI
dark Facebook.
That's right. Go to the dark Facebook and find the TGIA members only lounge and ask to be a member, and I'll Facebook stalk you and see if I find you worthy.
Absolutely. And then of course it's always worth paying a visit to our website, thankgodimatheist.com.
It's sometimes worth that.
It's always worth it.
Okay.
You know, you can at least find our latest podcasts, and there's a great way to support us. There.
And we got a whole...
Every once in a while, we put a blog post up.
And, you know, there's a whole backlog of blog posts that are just delightful.
They're worth reading.
Go find some of those.
Comment on stuff.
Yeah.
Comment.
Share.
Yeah, and, you know, actually, you can go to the website and comment on our most recent podcasts.
That's true.
So you could have a conversation about
the show.
On our website.
You could do that.
Anyway. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Of course, whenever we can, it's Pat Robertson. And this is a longer clip than we normally play.
He takes twists and turns, and around every corner, there's something new that's horrifying.
Right.
It's delightful.
And so here we go.
When I was growing up in high school, we didn't figure it was a right to get high. I mean, it wasn't even discussed. We weren't using drugs. We were appalled that somebody would take drugs. I remember when I was in college, just starting at Washington Lee, they had booked a band, a man named Gene Krupa. He was a well-known drummer, and he had a band. And he'd been busted for possession of marijuana, and they canceled him. I mean, everybody was shocked. We got this guy, you know, he's a drug addict. We don't want him. But we didn't, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of drinking, but in high school, there wasn't much of that. And maybe we'd sneak around and smoke a few cigarettes, but the idea of getting high, of having it as a right, that you had to have some substance, you didn't have that, did you?
Well, I think it came in for my generation right after we all got out of high school. It was kind of, and I'm not laying this at their feet, but when the Beatles came to America, it seemed like drugs from a lot of what was going on in Europe came with them.
Well, it was probably part of Vietnam, too, because the soldiers over there, and I mean, the servicemen and women were given exposure to some pretty cheap heroin and other types of drugs, and they were so discouraged. That war was such a mess over there, and they just, you know...
We went through a lot of cultural struggle that began at that time, I think, and the war was a big part of that.
But we've got doctors. Everything is an anxiety, and so doctors were prescribing Prozac and Valium and these things by the billions, not just a few million pills, billions of pills. Everybody write a prescription, here, stay stoned, here, stay stoned. Oh, you're upset, your husband's been mean to you, stay stoned. And, I mean, you know, billions of those things were going out. So we got a culture that you had to have some narcotic to ease the pain of life.
Well, and no, I've always marveled at the fact that there's no fear of the repercussions of using some of these things that don't have, you know, I mean, kids have been using household cleaning chemicals and things.
Well,
I mean,
they're sniffing and snorting, and they
not
got
knowing the long-term impact.
Oh, glue particularly was driving, I mean, making people mentally unstable. It's a terrible thing, ladies and gentlemen, that we would have a culture, but as I say, we didn't have that need, and suddenly we have now. We've got to be medicated. Everybody's got to be high. We've got to have medication. Sure, you got to smoke a little grass. Oh yeah, you're going to shoot a little coke. Oh, absolutely, you got to have a little of this. I mean, snort a little coke, whatever. And now, you know, heroin has become the drug of choice. It used to be in the black community. A lot of people taking it. It's reached up now into the white middle class and above. And
above.
And above. I mean, you know, but the higher levels up, because apparently heroin doesn't have quite as many immediate side effects as some of the other ones. I don't know. I've never used the stuff and don't intend to, but the thing of it is, we've got to do something as a culture. We just can't have a matter of right that you have to be medicated.
Oh my God!
You don't want a right to medicine.
No, to get high.
A right to be medicated? That's what he ends on?
All that Prozac that gets you stoned.
Yeah.
Stay stoned on the Prozac.
What I love is like this idea, like we didn't need substances, we didn't need that. Oh, I bet there was a lot of drinking, Pat.
Yeah, well,
I bet there have always been things for people to escape
Frank,
with.
as you well know from what he just said, had you been listening, you would know that drinking and sneaking some cigarettes here and there doesn't count as getting high.
Well,
Doesn't count as drugs.
Yeah, but come on.
It is drugs.
It's totally drugs.
Oh, and
there's a physical
I love that he got the racism in there.
Oh my goodness, because
Frank, we have to worry about
this.
this.
That's the kind of racist comment that is so unbelievable, because he doesn't even hear himself say it.
He doesn't even know that he's being racist.
And neither did the woman.
No.
She didn't like flinch or anything.
Neither of them picked up on it at all. It was just like, oh, you're right. It is starting at the bottom with those nasty little blacks, and then moving
reaching up.
It's
reaching up to the
it's actually
to the wonderful
infected
whites.
into the middle class whites and above
and even beyond.
How do you even?
Although I'm not sure what's above.
I know,
class whites.
Frank. What's above us? We're middle class white. I don't know.
I'm really not aware of
even
anything.
whiter people are above us. We're not technically
possible.
You and I
to
are
be
like
whiter.
You and I are like we're not tan,
pasty.
but we're
pasty because we're not out in the sun. But we're not like Nordic.
No.
Blonde hair.
What if the albinos get the heroin? What's going to happen then?
No, not the precious albinos. Protect the albinos.
They're like the racial unicorns.
Oh, they're so beautiful. And precious.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Rare. They must be protected.
I do have to say, I was impressed that he caught himself on the shoot a little coke thing.
Yeah.
Smoke a little grass, shoot a little coke, and then he's like, oh, no, I mean snort. I know how you do coke, you guys. Don't be dumb.
I wonder if there was a little earpiece that was like, snort, snort.
some producer's like, you don't shoot coke, you don't shoot coke.
Oh, snort. He does seem a little dismissive when he says it, actually.
Oh, my God, that's so funny.
Well, that's a fun clip.
That is a fun
I hope
clip.
everybody else enjoyed it as much as we did.
Oh, well, there you go. We've had some people write and call into us.
Indeed.
Do you want to play a voicemail? Should we start with that?
Start there. I only have one to play today.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, let's start there.
It was the holidays. I feel like there was less correspondence because
a little less.
people are just sort of getting through the holidays.
Yeah. All right. This is a caller who is sharing a story about. I guess it's an idea for a new religion. Let's just put it that way.
Oh.
Hi, guys. This is Christine. I wanted to tell you something that my 6-year-old said. We are raising them secular, questioning, whatever they come down to believe is fine with us, but they know that we're atheists. And my 6-year-old said to me the other day, Mommy, I am not an atheist. And I said, oh, okay. Tell me about your beliefs. And she said, well, when I go to the bathroom, I pray to poop God for an easy wipe. And I had to say that is one of the more practical, sensible religions that I had ever heard of. And, she's welcome to practice it in my home. So I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Keep doing your good work. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, Christine, you have to let me know if this works for her because
is it monotheistic or is this a polytheistic? Are there going to be other gods introduced in?
Right.
Or is it seriously just the poo god?
Honestly, I would pray to a god that could keep the wiping easy. That would be that's a god I could get.
I've been neglected by that god some days.
Believe me.
Goodness.
So yeah, you let us know if poop god works out for that 6-year-old because we might jump on that bandwagon.
All hail poop god.
It sounds like heaven. Hi Frank and Dan, this is Eben writing into us. Interesting. He says recently I became good friends with a guy and we bonded over sex. Not having it, though, talking about it.
Oh.
He's a Mormon and had lots of questions about sex, sexuality, gender, etc. that he couldn't find answers to in the LDS community.
Okay.
And ended up being directed to me by a friend.
Okay. Okay.
He's never been typical Mormon. He dresses differently, has different, often more liberal beliefs, and generally doesn't act much like one, though he still follows many of the guidelines and regulations of the church. The problem is he's not happy. Even though believing in a God and his spirituality are important to him, and it's the community he's known all his life, he doesn't fit in. He's told me he envied my ability to explore my sexuality, and he flip-flops every day on wanting to be a good Mormon or leaving the mess altogether. He suffers from a ton of Mormon guilt. He says in parentheses, "We joke that Catholics and Mormons are guilt experts," which is true.
Yeah.
And he struggles because the life he very much wants to lead doesn't comply with what the church wants for him. He says, so Evan says, "We've become really close, and it sucks to see him in this place where one day he seems fine and the next he feels guilty or has another faith crisis. I was hoping you guys, having left the church, might have advice for me on helping him find a space where he's actually okay with the idea of leaving the church, or for him directly."
Wow. Huh.
So it's that's a tricky one because you can't force anybody to accept anything outside of their own time frame.
Yeah, no. Yeah. There's no you can't really plan their path for them.
Right. It's difficult because
you don't know what's going to finally get them out of it.
Right. I mean, you can sort of do a little Bogosianing. You can
yeah.
Can we call it a Bogosiation?
Sounds like it's pretty good.
But I mean, you can. I don't know if you've read Pete Boghossian's book, but it does talk about just sort of getting their mind. It's a way to gently and honestly just get their minds working on their own problems,
right?
On the logical issues inherent within religion,
right? The guide for creating atheists,
a manual for creating atheists.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad one. Have him listen to our show.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, as long as he's fine with
a couple swears here and there, but he sounds like he's liberal enough. He can handle it. If y'all are talking sexy talk to each other, then
ooh,
and that's how I'm going to characterize it. I've decided that's how it's going to be. But I don't know. Just be a listening ear for him, and if you see him in a lot of pain, you can say, by the way, I'm not in the pain that you're in.
Right.
I know that pain. Or if you haven't experienced it, you tell them that you know two guys who have experienced that pain, who know that pain, and who know an out for it, and you feel so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a joyous time when you let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for writing in there, Eben.
Absolutely.
Also, Sam wrote into us. Sorry, I've been having frogs in my throat.
Well, the air's been terrible, Dan.
Oh, you guys. The air in Salt Lake City. It is not okay. It is not okay. Hi, Frank and Dan. My name is Sam, a longtime listener and first-time writer. I love your podcast, and I'm sure by now many have told you how awesome it is. Please believe them. Oh, okay, Sam. Thanks. That's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
He says, I live in Kenya, and when I heard your coverage of Al-Shabaab, I knew I had to chime in.
Oh,
I'm an atheist, which is hard enough here, I'll bet.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I wanted to tell you some of what you may have missed from that story. You may have heard about the mall in Nairobi, where a while ago that was shot up by a terrorist. That's the same group.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow.
Sort of like Al-Qaeda's younger cousin, he says.
Oh.
On the bus incident, that's the one that we talked about last week, they asked all the passengers and crew, 64 of them in all, to recite an Islam prayer. 29 people couldn't, and they were all Christian, because in Africa, everyone is either Christian or Muslim. They took the 29 outside the bus, made them kneel all in one row, and 2 of the militia started shooting from the outside coming in.
Oh.
The guy who was able to tell the story was in the middle, and he only survived because each of the 2 killers thought the other one would finish him off. He was saved by odd numbers.
Oh, my goodness.
Things like this happen a lot down here, he says. A lot of fighting and bloodshed in the name of a god. I look at them and laugh, and I haven't even told you about the poverty. Again, love what you do. Just keep on keeping on. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed the holidays, and wish you a happy New Year.
Yeah, keep on keeping on to you.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, it's easy for us. We will keep on keeping on with the podcast. You just try and stay alive, Sam. That's important to us that you stay alive.
Absolutely.
And I've definitely seen poverty. It doesn't look nice in less developed world.
Nope.
We had some. We had a couple donors that I wanted to make sure to thank. Ryan gave us a nice one-time donation.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Sarah was actually very kind and is now a monthly subscriber.
Wonderful.
We really
Thank you,
appreciate
Sarah.
that. And also Jim.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jim.
So thanks very much for all of that. It's very helpful, and we're. It's hard to ask for money, but we really actually do need it in order to keep this thing going. So if you also would like to donate to us, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the donate the subscribe. No, what is it? Support. The support tab.
Yeah. And of course, if you are on the Android platform, you can always go to their app store and get the Joyride app.
Yeah.
It's a way to listen to the podcast, but it's also a way to support the podcast. We have a campaign up there as we speak. And if you would rather access it online, you can go to getjoyride.com. And there's just, we're starting to try to organize our effort to support the podcast.
Right.
And we've set some goals on Joyride. You can go check them out, see what we're trying to build up to. And of course, we have some great ways to say thank you as well. So
so find us there, and thanks for all of that help, all the help that you guys give us.
Yeah.
So there, Frank, I don't know if you know this.
What?
There are Muslims in Europe.
Yeah, much to the chagrin of a lot of Europeans, right?
You'd think what were all those crusades about if they couldn't get the Muslims out of Europe?
Well, now the chickens have come home to roost.
Yeah, and boy are they roosting.
Yeah.
So we are recording on Wednesday.
Yes. So the shooting in Paris at the Charlie Hebdo magazine or newspaper, I guess is actually what it is. It's a weekly newspaper, has just happened with about 12 dead. I've been seeing 11 dead or 12 dead, depending on the news source. So that by the time the show comes out, will probably have been the number will be settled on one of those two, unfortunately. And then there's a few that were injured pretty severely by the sound of it.
Right.
With the two shooters, I think they're still thinking that it's two. Went in with Kalashnikovs and shot up the place.
Yeah.
So the death toll, if it's 12, includes 10 journalists and 2 police officers. Because the story of Charlie Hebdo is that
I think it's pronounced Charlie Hebdo.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
Quit doing that Frenchy talk.
And I always so appreciate it when you correct me.
Yeah, I know you do.
Anyways, this is not the first incident at the Charlie Hebdo offices. They were actually firebombed in 2011.
Oh, wow.
After a spoof issue of the paper came out, and it featured a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad on its cover. They also listed Muhammad as its editor-in-chief in that episode, in that edition.
Right.
And they named they sort of renamed the paper to Sharia Hebdo. Just for the one. But this is actually, they're not, just singling out Islam. They did, but
right.
This is what they do. Apparently the paper features heavily cartoons, little drawings and whatnot, and that deal with the issues of the day. And when the issues of the day were Islam, and it seemed appropriate to them to put a caricature of Muhammad on their cover, that's what they did.
Right.
They're firm believers in freedom of the press and freedom of speech.
All right. Why are you defending them, Frank?
Because
you've picked a side here.
I have picked a side. A very dangerous side, apparently, to pick. But clearly, it's
a good thing nobody knows where TGIA Tower is.
Yeah,
They'd be
kidding.
firebombing us.
But The paper, it is a leftist paper, and largely, apparently, again, I don't speak French, and I've never, until today, had never even heard of the publication. But they, leftist and often, I mean, they have no respect for religion, it sounds like.
Right.
So so they're that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And clearly in a society that values freedom of press and freedom of religion and the rule of law, you don't go shooting places up.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Okay, so when you proposed this as our final segment, I thought to myself, what we need to do is find a place to come at this where we're not all the way. My concern is that this is the whole Islam thing is such a tender subject,
right,
and stuff. And what I did was I went and looked up how Fox News was covering this story.
Oh, okay.
And then I looked up how
Al Jazeera.
Oh no,
that would be an interesting place
I'm sure
to
that
go.
they're doing fine. How HuffPo,
okay,
the Huffington Post, was covering it.
Okay,
because I figured that covers like the extremes on either side of the political spectrum. It is interesting, the Fox News is being much more matter of fact about it than HuffPo is. So the Fox News, for at least initially, it's just very straightforward sort of facts. Of course, they found some people to make some
denounce Islam,
or whatever, or they just find ways of making sure that they make it as Muslim-y as make these bad guys sound as Muslim-y as possible.
Okay.
We've avenged the honor of our prophet, it says in a pulled out quotation.
Oh, okay.
From one of the gunmen, apparently. On the other side of the spectrum, we've got HuffPo, whose headline is "Muslims around the world condemn the Charlie Hebdo attack," and then it's just a listing of tweets of Muslims condemning it.
Oh wow!
More than anything,
interesting.
So I mean, you can see that there are different priorities in covering this.
Yeah.
The problem is that we've got a real problem here.
Yeah.
We've got a religion that doesn't believe in the rule of law.
No. Because
outside of the rule of their own law. And even with all of these,
even the rule of their law is not very much in the tradition of sort of the ideals of the rule of law. When you say the rule of law,
right,
you don't think of a theocracy.
No. Well, and here's the thing,
something entirely different.
Looking at these tweets that Huffington Post has published, and there's a whole lot of them, just condemning these attacks. There was one that said, "As a Muslim, killing innocent people in the name of Islam is much, much more offensive to me than any cartoon could ever be." Little things like that are so I think that it's fair to say we can't lay these attacks entirely at the feet of Islam.
But it there's a section, there's a part of Islam that does respond violently. There are,
indeed.
And if this was like an isolated event, it would be a lot easier for me to take that sort of position.
Well, yeah, and that's
because
an issue.
I really have serious problems with Islam, and I've not, and I wrestle with it because I know that the good liberal in me would rather respond like HuffPo is responding.
Yeah. Well,
but there's a nasty little conservative in me that responds like Fox News.
Well,
when it's Islam, I don't know why I have serious problems, and I lay it at the feet of the religion.
Well, here's where I come from on this. Islam's definitely more dangerous right now. It's far easier to radicalize someone in Islam than it is
that's the point.
Any other religion.
Yeah. And it's that the moderates don't actually truly stand up as a group, as a cohesive group, and denounce the radicals.
Right.
You get some isolated tweets, you get some comments. If you know a Muslim, they're going, that's not the Islam that I follow.
Yeah, if you
you
scour
hear
Twitter,
that.
you're going to come up with a lot of tweets. But
Right.
I guarantee you can scour Twitter and come up with plenty of Muslim tweets in support.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
where I come from is this. There was a story. I didn't choose this story to say on the show because it isn't as relevant as people think it is. To my mind, it's not as relevant to religion as people think it is. But it was a story about a woman who killed her child by stuffing Bible pages down its throat.
Oh my goodness. What?
It was horrific and awful, and it was done in the name of whatever religion, whatever gaudy thing she's thinking. Obviously, it's really the product of a mental illness.
Yeah, clearly.
But the religion paved the way for her to think of this as a thing.
Right.
And in that respect, I think that's what religion does that's so harmful.
Right.
Is that it because there's nothing in the secular world that would ever say, X is more okay. There's something more higher and more important than what's happening right here.
Right.
On this plane, here on Earth, humans interacting with humans.
Right.
And once you say, oh, there's something bigger, there's something above us, and you have access to it, then then a crazy mind or an unstable mind can go all the way. Oh, well, my pastor told me I have access to God.
Right.
And if I feel like God is telling me to kill someone, then I may do so with impunity.
Right.
And that's where religion empowers the destabilized and the mentally ill to do something that they may not be able to get their brain to do if they didn't have the religion, or they wouldn't have thought of it, or they wouldn't have become obsessed in the way that they were obsessed.
Right.
They may have, but I think there are many cases where it's very clear that the religion has been the way, the paving toward this thing.
And it could be related in some ways to what you can get young men to do in the name of anything. But
yeah,
it's still, I wouldn't want to write these guys off as having some sort of mental illness or
no.
They have been manipulated by or have just figured it out on their own that they need to act in defense of Islam. And since it is forbidden in Islam to make representations of the Prophet Muhammad
and punishable by death,
by death, they were carrying out God's will by, in their minds, executing these people.
It's in the book. And here's the thing. Islam doesn't have any provisions for, like, if it's in the book, it may be metaphorical, it may be this.
Yeah, they don't seem to approach it that way, do they?
It's not open for interpretation.
Yeah.
And
it's very literal.
That is incredibly problematic when you've got
concrete black and white thinking.
Right. And the Muslim apologists will point out all of the Quranic verses that talk about peace, that talk about nonviolence.
But they can't write away, and they can't, point out away the ones that say the things that led these guys to do what they did.
Right. You can't just cherry pick it, because cherry picking's not allowed in Islam.
Yeah.
It's not. It's against the rules of the thing.
Yeah,
I mean, technically,
it's not like Christian where you can just like pick whatever the fuck you want out of the Bible and just follow it.
Oh, who was it? I think Danielle Moscato, what is her position at American Atheist?
PR,
the
marketing,
PR,
something or other.
She put a thing onto Facebook that said something about how what was it? It was it was something. I guess it was a tweet that she got or something from a Christian,
right?
That was like, all of the prophecies that have been scientifically proven are proof of prophecy, and the ones that haven't are just metaphors. Why is that so hard to understand?
Right. Exactly. It's clear.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's how the religious mind works.
That's kind of where Christianity has had to go.
Right. Islam doesn't work that way.
Islam has not figured out how to get there.
Right.
And until they do, they're a very, very dangerous group. Now,
they are a threat to Western values. I really believe it, because what this kind of incident leads to is then groups self-censoring, right? Because they're fearful of retaliation.
Right.
Right. And so we've seen on, I guess, Facebook today a lot of posts of pictures of Muhammad. Right. People are sharing pictures. They're drawing pictures of Muhammad, doing caricatures of Muhammad. I saw one on Reddit that was downright incendiary all by itself. It was the Prophet Muhammad filleting a pig.
Wildly disrespectful, sure.
Yeah. So that's pretty bad. And so
yeah, because they can't have
their
pork.
kind of thing.
That's why.
And that's what's wrong with that photo.
Right.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I mean, it's clearly does make it a little more offensive, the fact that it is a pig.
Right.
Yeah.
They hate those.
They just terrible, nasty things. Could have been a dog, too.
Yeah, they don't like dogs either.
How you don't like pigs or dogs? Right there. That's where I draw the line with this religion.
At that point, you know that there's something very wrong happening.
Absolutely.
There's something very
There's
wrong.
very, very, very wrong. They don't like ham. They don't want to eat ham.
Yeah.
Ham. Dan.
Right. I'm saying.
Pork chops.
Bacon.
Hot dogs of most variety.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, in Germany, in Germany, there's been an interesting thing that's been happening, and I was actually considering this as a story until this happened, and now it's part of that's all wrapped up in
larger
this
dialogue.
Which is that there's a movement in Germany. There's a group calling themselves, I'll just say Pegida.
What a beautiful name.
Yes, isn't that lovely? PEGIDA, which stands for, roughly translated, Patriotic Europeans Against the Islamization of the West. That's actually not roughly translated. That's almost directly translated.
Okay. Well, ooh, good.
I tried to say it in German, but my pronunciation is only pretty good. And it doesn't add anything to it. What? You want me to say it?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
I'm just... Oh, Dan.
It's like your favorite phrase in the world. Oh, Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Anyway, Pegida is a German anti-Islamization group, and they have grown exponentially in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Their numbers, they've been having protests and stuff, and as of their protest on January 5th of this year, they had like 18,000 participants in their group.
18,000. Wow. Okay.
They're not a small... This isn't like, protests of like 200 marching around a thing.
They actually show up with 18,000 protesters? Or is that
well,
how many
no,
people
that's how many
belong to
people
the group?
like are in the group, but there. I mean, so a recent poll in a magazine called Stern,
Stern.
showed that 1 in 8 Germans would join an anti-Islam march.
Oh.
It's not small.
Oh.
Yeah, a demonstration organized by the group in Dresden drew 17,500 people. Another one in the same city attracted 18,000 people.
Wow.
In response to this, the Catholic Church has decided not to get involved, but the cathedral in Cologne, actually turned off its lights on the night that they had a demonstration there. As a showing of non-support.
So that they didn't, okay.
For that. Angela Merkel, the chancellor, the German chancellor, said in her New Year's Day...
her hands apart. And,
in her New Year's Day speech, her brows furrowed a little bit further than normal. And she said,
normal severity.
She said, "Do not follow people who organize these, for their hearts are cold and often full of prejudice and even hate." Wow. So the trick here is that we're walking a line between being willing and honest enough to say there is an Islam problem.
Yeah, Islam, get your act together.
And until you do, like, we can't just embrace you.
Yeah.
We have to be worried about you.
Yeah.
But we
it is completely legitimate for free people to be very concerned about another group that's coming in with wildly different values.
Yeah.
And that as one of their most cherished beliefs, they don't believe in sort of worldly governments.
Right.
They want their theocratic government.
Yeah.
That is alarming to any sane, free person. I'm sorry.
It is. But by the same token, we have to temper that thought with the knowledge that most Muslims are just like most people, and they're fine, and they're not violent, and they're not. They don't condone violence.
Right.
So,
I'm not saying be violent to them or lock them all up or whatever. I'm saying they need to get their house in order.
They do.
As the moderates of their religion, they need to figure it out.
Right.
And they need to be pushing the extremists out.
Well, and as we've seen from the,
if we were to, like,
there was that video that you found.
Moderates,
there was
I'm
that,
sorry.
There was that video that we played the audio of it a couple months ago of, just a group of random Muslims who all raised their hand in support of violence.
Yeah, in Norway.
So the problem here is that Islam is.
They've got to get their house in order.
I'm
sorry. And if the moderates refuse, that's where I have a problem with Islam.
Yeah. But we can't. But again, having this conversation scares me as much as it scares a lot of people, in that what we can't do is sour people on humans. The individual, the woman that lives down the street from me, who I see walking around in a hijab and a full Muslim regalia.
I
can't treat her badly just because because Islam is bullshit. Because Islam is a problem.
No, you don't stop seeing them as people, and until.
But that's a danger too, and we see that.
Right.
So it's our responsibility to be.
There's a balance here, and what I'm saying has nothing to do with, disrespecting the people.
Right.
Who choose to behave civilly.
And that's the tricky part of this, right? Because our words that we are speaking right now against Islam could very easily rile someone up to commit a hateful act against a Muslim person.
I don't think we've crossed that line, and I sincerely that's not where this is coming from.
No, it's not where it's coming from. I'm saying that we as a people, as a group, as our listeners, us, Frank, and me, Dan, when we talk about this, that's what we have to be wary of. That's where we have to be careful. We can't participate by flaming we have to have rational discussion without flaming fires, without fanning flames.
I don't think we've been fanning flames.
Flaming fires.
There's no flaming flames and flyers and
you can't flame. You can't flame the flares.
No, that has not been what this conversation is, and I don't think anybody could.
No, but I'm saying that as we go forward. We being this community of people, that's the key. The goal, I think, needs to be to have the honest discussion, and still
we need to be able to say
aware.
Moderate Islam, get your act together.
Yeah, all Islam, get your act together.
Islam, get your act together. But it's going to be the moderates that save that thing,
right? And kick these guys out.
Kick them out. This cannot be acceptable behavior. And poll after poll, survey after survey, they're just not willing.
Right.
They need to fully denounce the extremists.
They need to be marginalized completely. Just as
unacceptable behavior.
Right.
Period.
Just as the Ku Klux Klan needs to be marginalized from Christianity.
Because they're recruiting young men from Northern Europe and the United States and Canada and Australia.
They're recruiting non-Muslims.
I know. It makes no sense.
Islam, because they get to shoot things.
And that obviously is a lot rarer. The problem is that they're able to get these kids who grew up in the West, in Muslim families, to go and fight for them.
Right.
And that is alarming.
It is alarming. I guess my last point, and I will make this my last point. You can have the final word if you want, if you have anything else. But my last point is this: we as a society, because that's what Islam needs to do, but we can't force them to do that. Unfortunately,
we can shame them into it.
Well, we can try, but we as a society need to have enough vision to know. We need to learn how to walk the line between saying these honest statements about how we view Islam and how Islam is failing
and
people.
the fear that we have about where they're at.
Right. We need to walk that. We need to be able to say those things, but we also need to be able to say them without radicalizing people by saying them, without them feeling like we're attacking Islam in a way that they can say, well, now we're justified. Because I think that this conversation also just further justifies other attacks. It becomes this us against them dynamic, and that's a war. And then they feel like they're in a war. And once they feel like they're in a war, of course shooting is the next place you go.
Right.
I don't know how to solve it, but it's a problem. If you guys
if maybe someone knows how to solve it,
I'm sure that we have people who are much more brilliant than we are out there,
and they already have a solution all figured out.
Well, maybe they don't have a solution, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. You can reach us by writing into podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or leaves a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page for continuing discussion. Facebook.com/TGIAtheist or the TGIA Members Only Lounge,
which is also on Facebook. And then www.thankgodimatheist.com is our website. I'm sorry, Dan.
You pronounced that one right. You did that correctly.
Facebook.
Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you to Mackenzie for everything you do on Facebook for us, and everything else that you do for us as well.
And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine gypsy jazz music.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
Yeah, we do. We love you so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.